Alright guys, we'll be doing a jungle tier list for the current patch. I think it's open beta 41. It's Robin release. So right off the bat, I'll put Robin S tier. He has really good damage. He's a very safe character. He's easy to play. He has good camp clear. He has pretty much everything that you can ask for. And with how good his damage can be, you can get away with going one or two defense items. But I personally think you don't need to go defense on him. At most, just go one defense item. Okay, Achilles. Okay, I'm quite mixed here between S and A tier. I'll put him at the very top of A tier, just because he has lots of good potential. Actually, he's just S tier. Achilles has a lot of damage. His 1v1s are extremely good. He loses almost no 1v1s in the jungle. His early game pressure is insane. Now he can sort of fall off a bit late game, but if you know how to play him right, he's definitely very strong. Aladdin, this could be a bit tricky here. I personally believe he's an A tier just because his early game is so atrociously bad. Well, not really bad per se, because you do have your power rush and stuff. Now, his early game damage itself is not it's not very good if you don't have your ults or power rush. He doesn't win that many 1v1s, but his late game is absolutely insane. And if you do get a lead on him, he's just an absolute monster. But I personally would place him at the very top of A tier. Amaterasu, now this is for the aspect. Amaterasu aspect is definitely A tier. Now, she's not being played that much in general, but her aspect makes her an absolute monster. If you go braggies into to some build Dagger Frenzy, yeah, the build that I just went on her does a lot of burst damage and really good DPS, and her kit's quite good for ganks and stuff. But her 1v1s are also really good because, well, she's just a warrior, so she can many trades. Anubis, I'll put her probably like C or D tier. I mean, without the new echo items in the game, I would put him in C tier because if you don't die a lot in the early game and the match is like more so even, you can do quite a bit of damage. And while he can get punished quite hard, if you know how to position properly with him and if you can hit your reps to be somewhat relatively acceptable, but just don't really play this guy. Like bottom C tier, upper A D tier. I think I'll just put him bottom C tier. Apollo, he's just very strong right now. He's an auto attack ADC jungler that's a really good ultimate. So he's a character that doesn't need to worry about the enemies having wards because he can just ult right into the lane before they can react. His 1v1 is good into pretty much every melee character in the game because he has his mez and his 3 and he can hit them from range. So he has a lot of pressure, he has a lot of DPS, and he has pretty much everything that you want. Athena aspect, I am quite mixed in between putting her in S tier and A tier. Now this is a certain build that we run. You can do so much burst damage, and I'm only talking about aspect Athena. This is aspect Athena, not normal Athena. Don't run normal Athena jungle because you can't go your ultimate won't be as valuable for ganks. But her aspect with her ultimate, she'll be able to just ult and just get free kills pretty much every single time. Aurelix, I would put her in B tier. Now, Aurelix has a very strong early game, like really strong early game, and she can definitely pub some lobbies, but she doesn't have as much to offer in Smite 2 as she does in Smite 1 just because of there being only one relic in the game. Now I know you can buy relic items into your build so you can have multiple relics, but there's been so many times where if the matchups aren't good for you, you're just kind of useless. And a Relix late game without ultimate can't really do anything a lot, and she has to play very carefully and very uh opportunistic. Like you have to just be very patient and just wait for a golden opportunity to happen. If you can't do that, she's absolutely useless late game. And the late game is what matters the most in when it comes to winning games, because if you drop 20 kills but you can't do anything late game, you're just useless. Okay, Bastet jungle, I will put her in B tier. Now, they nerfed her a lot, and I know that her ultimate does a lot of fucking damage, but she's pretty much a character that can only gank people with her ultimate. They nerfed her base kit a bit too much, so she's kind of just an old bot. Now, don't get me wrong, she can definitely still do some damage, but you just have to only gank when you have an ultimate, and a character that can only gank with their ultimate just feels pretty bad. She just doesn't have enough damage in the base kit to warrant her being higher. Now, if it was released past test, she was most definitely S tier. Now, she can definitely be very good into like many matchups, like if you're fighting a Raw and a Artemis ADC, they can't run away from your cats that well. So that's her silver lining. Okay, Bellona jungle, I would put in C tier, right above Anubis. So she's not played a whole lot, but she has a very strong early to mid game, obviously, because well, she's a warrior and she wins pretty much. She probably wins every single 1 versus 1 in this game, and the only reason why that I wouldn't put her higher, even though she has really good damage, is that her late game in jungle falls off pretty hard, and she can. It's just kind of in the same boat as the Bastet, really. I mean, not entirely, but without ultimate, it'll be way harder to go for ganks. Kern jungle. This will be for both ranged and aspect, because both ADC Kerninos and melee aspect Kerninos can both be played well in jungle. Though my personal opinion, I think ADC Kern's just a bit stronger than aspect Kern, but he's most definitely A tier. He has the fastest camp clear speed out of any character in the game. He has insane damage in both forms. His passive makes him want to box melee characters quite well because he gets extra scaling. And he has a team fight ultimate. Okay, Dachi's S tier because obviously her ultimate is very, very, very broken in this game. She has very good ways to get into fights, and she's also very safe. She's one of the best diving junglers in the game because if you dive a tower, you have your ultimate for safety net. You have your two for mitigations. So if you're being targeted by the tower and you press your two, you'll be able to tank more tower shots and just live. She has. They also gave her a +1 in Smites that if your one is on cooldown, her enhanced basic attack. If someone is like on 30% HP or less and you're right next to them, it'll rapidly decrease the cooldown of your one. So you'll have two of your ones up at once in the same fight. So her 1v1 is good. She has a decent clear speed. She's very, very safe. With ultimate, she does a lot of damage. And her 3 can also catch onto wards in Scylla 3 before she teleports. So she has it all. I'll put it like one right here. Yeah, actually, I'll just do this. Okay, Fenrir jungle. He's most definitely in the bottom of B tier right now. He's not as strong as he used to be. Sadly, they had to nerf him quite a bit, but he generally does have a lot of what you want in this current meta. And the current meta is just maintaining control over all the neutral farm, and he has some decent 1v1s. He can stick to people well, and his ultimate can absolutely punish people that are just alone or don't have beads, or you can pull the support into tower. So he's quite good for the current meta, but he just doesn't have enough damage. He actually does lose some matchups that he used to win before back in Smite 1. Gilgamesh jungle, he is severely underrated still. I would put him in A tier. He has a lot of good gank potential. His ultimate is insane. The only issue with him is that some of the tank items in this game aren't the best for him. I mean, they're good enough, but that's one issue. He can't do as much as he could in Smite 1. And the other biggest problem with him is his passive with the 4 quests. The 4 quests that he has is generally very hard to get all 4 of them done. And it can sort of bait you into trying to play for it when it's not much of an option. So if you do play this god, do not play for his quests if you can. Just it is almost never worth it. Hercules jungle D tier. He has the worst clear in the entire game. His clear speed is so slow. He is not as strong as he used to be. He's gotten so many nerfs in the past. And the tank items in this game, while they are better now, they're not able to offer him enough to warrant being played in jungle. He's one of the worst possible bull picks in jungle right now. On bots, he has a lot of good damage with his recent buff, like a patch or two ago. His early game damage is good. He has a very impactful team ultimate. His clear speed's quite well, and yeah, he has pretty much everything that you want. But his ultimate is just so good in team fights. It could mean the difference between you winning or losing. Uyi jungle, now he's a bit more difficult to play. If you're the goat that's just hitting his one and you memorize all the walls, he would be like an S tier. But if you're not, he's a bit tricky because if you land his stuns a lot, he's very good. He has a very good ultimate to use in the jungle because your son can wall people off, but he's just very let's see what's the word I'm looking for. He's so dependent on just his one many times. Now he does win so many 1v1s in the jungle because of his kit, and he's just one of the best 1v1 characters in the entire game. But if you miss the one, then your chances of just winning the fight are just way harder. But he would be upper A tier, lower S tier. Izanami jungle. Now I know almost nobody here plays Izanami jungle, but I've played her a lot. I got a 73% win rate with her in the DD ranked lobbies over the past year. She has pretty much everything that you ever want in a jungler in Smite 2. Okay, so thanks to Braggy's Harp and Sunbeam Bow, she can sort of play like a pseudo jungler. What do I mean by that? Well, most junglers are just so good at just ganks and just catching people by surprise. And if you use her ultimates properly, like if you hide behind some walls or corner something, and you see someone squishy that's just running by, you ult them, you pop Sunbeam Bow, and they're just dead in around 3 or 4 auto attacks. And with the build that I run every single time, I have a lot of attack speed. I have insane burst damage. She has the fastest, if not the second fastest clear out of every character that can be played in jungle. She has insanely high DPS with that build. She has good burst. She has an escape. She has an invis to bypass wards if she needs to. And her 1v1s are just so good, especially once you get 3 items online. Now, I would actually put her higher up here. Let's see. I do want to rearrange this right now. There we go. There we go. Okay, Jing Wei jungle. Now I know Jing Wei hasn't been played a whole lot, but she used to be played a ton back in the day. Now I would put her in B tier just because they nerfed her quite a bit, and they also nerfed crits as well. So you can't really one shot as hard as you were able to in the past. And they also nerfed auto attack damage early game, so her early game is not as good as it used to be. Her clear speed's kind of fast, but if you can't get to late game on this character, which it could be a bit hard to, then she's just not worth playing right now. She doesn't have the best gank opportunities anymore. Okay, Callie, she's a bit weird right now. There are two specific builds that you can go. Though generally, if we're talking about the intelligence one shot full damage Callie build, then I would actually put her towards the end of A tier. Now you will notice that I'm putting so many people in S or A tier, and that's just because junglers are so OP right now. I mean, for ranked they're just so broken. But Callie, I'll put her at the very bottom of A tier just because if you go the intelligence build, it is very hard to if you can't scale into the late game, or if you don't get much opportunities in the early game, you're just gonna fall behind so hard because intelligence builds early game is so horrendous for jungle. So if you're not getting kills early game, then and team falls behind, you're just absolutely useless if you can't one shot and kill people. But if if you can't get into the late game, her late game with the one shot build is absolutely broken because you just kill almost every single person in jungle. Loki, okay, they actually buffed Loki after the bug that he used to have with his invis. He has he has really good damage. He's just a Loki. We don't know how he works. Very good single target damage. I mean, with the recent buff to Crusher as well, he's sort of not really entirely back, but he can sort of play for some good poke damage late game. In his +1 in Smite 2, if you kill someone, it'll reset your invis cooldown. So if you go the right build and you go Reaper late game and you just get a whole montage play, you'll just heal up so much. You'll get so many kills. It's just insane. And he can also bypass wars with his health. So yeah, he's definitely very strong right now. Mercury, ooh, if crit wasn't nerfed, I would definitely put him in S tier. But they nerfed crit sometime back, and his items aren't as strong as they used to be. So unfortunately, I do have to put him in A tier. You know, he's my most played character in the entire game. So I don't even want to play him anymore just because he doesn't have as much early game damage as he used to. Because what used to make him very strong was not only crit doing more damage, but also him just hitting very hard at level 1. Because they nerfed basic attack damage across the board in the early game by like on 20%. And you get 1% more basic attack damage per level back to normal. So he used to be very, very strong early game. And he used to one shot very harder, but he's still definitely quite viable. But you just have to keep in mind that you're not gonna hit as hard with him anymore. Mordred, I'll put him like A tier, like around here. He's kind of in a similar boat to Gilgamesh. If you go the right builds, he will definitely be an absolute menace. I mean, he's just strong at all stages of the game. Though his clear speed's a bit terrible. And since he's a tank jungler, he can not really worry about not farming too much, because tanks just still get a lot of value even though they're behind. But if you're not going the right lifesteal builds or the right lifesteal tanky builds that you see, if you're going anything else, you're probably not gonna see much success on him. So you have to go the right builds on this guy, or just play him in solo. Naja, D tier. Unfortunately, Naja, full damage. By the way, this is not the aspect. This is full damage. He doesn't have as much damage anymore in this game for some reason. And just going crit on him doesn't feel that great either. And with there only being one relic in the game, he's not able to do as much as he used to. He's just better off being played as a tank. Just go the aspect and just go tank on this guy, but don't play him in jungle right now. All these characters here just do way more than him. Alright, my Nemesis, S tier. She has really good 1v1s in jungle. Her clear speed's quite good. She has really good one-shot potential late game. And she also has the option of just shredding tanks if you want to play for that as well. Because she has really good movement speed too, and so many items in this game just make her way stronger than she normally is. Though if you do play this character, just run Pendulum Blade so you can have more cooldowns and more shields up. Odin, jungle. I would put him in A tier as well. Now, you have to play this guy as a tank jungler, obviously. Because if you go full damage Odin, you won't be able to do as much as you can late game, because you'll just get one shot. But he has a very good team ultimate. His early game is very strong. He wins so many 1v1s. His clear is actually quite good. If you only use one pulse on his 3, you'll get a huge attack speed buff. Which his clear can match so many of these characters up here. All of these assassins. Pele, S tier. She has really good damage, as we all know. Her ultimate is, if she hits level 5 and she catches someone alone and just out of position, she can just 100 to 0 people very easily. She has a lot of heals. She has very good move speed in the jungle, and she can get away with just getting so many ganks done. The only issue with her is her late game, because if you get one shot in the late game before you can get much damage done, then it's a problem. But if you run the full healing build with shifters right now, that's her currently her best build, and she'll just infinitely heal while being tanky and still doing a fuck ton of damage. So yeah, S tier for her. Poseidon, I'll put Poseidon in B tier. Now, I'll I'll only say this just because if you do run a Poseidon, they're most likely gonna get like around 3 or 4 Aegises, and playing Poseidon into an Aegis, it just feels really bad. And and the fact that they can buy more relics now means that their whole team could just run 5 Aegises, and you can't play the game that well with the Kraken. So your best bet if you play this guy is to just run full intelligence with nimble ring to have a lot of attack speed and DPS. Now, if it was just the one relic system, you would force the whole team into just only going Aegis, and if they don't go Aegis, you just kill them for free with the ultimate. But yeah, he just suffers because of Aegis. Ratatoskr D tier. Now, Rat is definitely good. Okay, actually no, doing this. He's actually at the very bottom of C tier. He just doesn't have enough damage as he used to. His acorns are quite weird in this game, and they're also sort of like must buy. So you have to sacrifice some actual good items in order to fit his acorns. Now, if you ever run Ratatoskr, you have to go Sense of Time, because I've thoroughly tested it. Every single starter is not gonna do as much for Ratatoskr as Sense of Time. Now, he definitely has good gank potential with his ultimate, because he's like Apollo. He doesn't have to worry about wards, because he can just ult from the gold free pit and into the lane. Now, if his damage was better, he would definitely be like around A or S tier, but he just doesn't have enough damage, and and that's what makes him not so good right now. Susanoo S tier. Where'd I put this guy actually? Like around here, I guess. Yeah, his early game damage is like one of the best in the entire game. You can pretty much almost 100 to 0 somebody at level 3 or 4. Because if you go barbed carver first item on this guy, you pretty much kill any person that's on a tank. And his clear speed's quite average. But his teamfight potential is very, very, very good. And yeah, there's not much more to say about him. Okay, Thanatos, for ranked, I would put him at upper A tier. Now, if this was in a more competitive tier list, I would put him way lower. But for ranked specifically, this guy can absolutely pub stomp an entire lobby. If you get a lead on this guy and you play very carefully and you just always gank with the ultimates, you will just drop 20 kills every single game. And if you go the build that I go, which is Reaper into Pendulum, you will have not only infinite heals, but you'll also have infinite cooldowns. Especially doing a montage play, you just get infinite sights and threes every single time. The Morrigan jungle. Now, her character is very good, but for jungle specifically, I personally would put her at the upper B tier, lower A tier. But the biggest problem with her is that she can't really gank anybody without her ultimate, and her ultimate's on a quite long cooldown. But she has insanely fast clear. She has good damage. Her ultimate is very, very versatile, and and she just does so much right now. She has really good damage. She has everything that you want, but just playing her in jungle, you have to gank with ultimate. And if you don't have your ultimate up, you can't really do a whole lot. So if she was able to do more without her ultimates, she would definitely be S tier, but it's either upper B tier or lower A tier for me. But with just how good her clear speed is, I would put her in A tier. Okay, Thor jungle, definitely S tier. Where would I put him? Like around right here, I guess. Thor's obviously he's just very, very good. He has a low skill floor but a very high skill ceiling. So if you do play Thor correctly, he will be S tier every single game, pretty much. He's just good into so many comps. The only downside to Thor is that his 1v1 potential into pretty much every single character on this list is really bad. He doesn't really beat anyone here except for Fenrir or like a Loki, but he has really good gank potential. He has insane damage with his one. This is his base kit, by the way. Do not go the aspect on Thor. Now, I would place aspect Thor like lower A tier, but that's only because the aspect's been nerfed a lot. Now, the aspect, if you're not good on just hitting your wall and your hammer on Thor, the aspect's definitely for you because it just makes it way easier to hit his abilities. But if you have decent aim, then always go base Thor. It does a lot of good poke damage, late game, really good ults. It's just Thor. Yep. Tsukuyomi S tier. Now Tsukuyomi has very very good damage, and his 1v1 ones are good as well because of his stun, and his ultimates just does insane damage at all stages in the game. The only issue with him is that you can't really not very fast. Your clear speed is very slow. He's one of the slowest clear junglers in the game, and he has no escape. But if you run combat blink on this guy, then that will solve one of those problems. But yeah, you just pay for pure damage and you'll be fine. Ullr jungle definitely B tier. Actually, I mean, it's just Ullr. If you have really good aim and you hit his stuff consistently, he would be A tier. But if you're not the best at Ullr, then he's probably not the best jungler for you to play. Now, the only issue with Ullr besides that is that he doesn't have as much damage early game, and you also don't have enough mana, so you always have to go Transcendence, which means if you go Transcendence on this guy, it means you have to play for stacks early game, which means you have to focus more on farm. So you can't get as much gank opportunities unless you want to have no mana in jungle. So I would put him just in B tier. But okay, if you are really good with him, if you hit yourself consistently, he's A tier. If you're mild with him or bad, he's just in B tier, or just don't play him at all. And finally, we have Ymir jungle. He's not being played a whole lot, and for good reason. Now his early game is like the strongest out of every single character on this list, except for he just wins every 1v1 except into Bellona. So if you play Ymir, you have to play very very hard for early game pressure on the other jungler, and just play super aggressive. But if you fall behind at all, you are absolutely useless. So he has really good potential to just snowball a lobby, but if you can't snowball a lobby, you're just cooked. There you go. This is the actual final list. All right. I'll see you all tomorrow. Hope you all have a good one, guys. Peace.